stands for Kobold. That's good enough for me. It's Kraken Week. From July 1st to 7th, TTRPG YouTubers are just posting videos around water-themed stuff, and that includes me. Why are we doing this? Well, we like to party. D&D is a multiplayer game, and the more people you befriend, the more games you get. That's optimal. You want people to like you. But anyways, I kind of have a problem. Kobold's already covered everything. Almost. I have two options. One of them is really boring, so I'm not gonna do that one. The other one is really interesting. It's questionable and will probably get me in hot water. This spell destroys the Kraken. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where we sink your ship. We're gonna be messing around with water. In case you have no idea how that works, especially through combat, here's a swimming guide. Link in the description. I go through absolutely everything, by the way. Or you can watch the Dungeon Dudes. I think they're covering swimming for Kraken Week. Anyways, control water, 4th level spell, 300-foot range. 10-minute duration, available for Cleric, Druid, Wizard, Marid, Genie, and Fathomless. Until the spell ends, you control any freestanding water inside an area you choose that is a cube up to 100 feet on a side. You can choose from any of the following effects when you cast this spell. As an action on your turn, you can repeat the same effect or choose a different one. Flood. You cause the water level of all standing water in the area to rise by as much as 20 feet. If the area includes a shore, the flooding water spills over onto dry land. If you choose an area in a large body of water, you instead create a 20-foot tall wave that travels from one side of the area to the other and then crashes down. Any huge or smaller vehicles in the wave's path are carried with it to the other side. Any huge or smaller vehicles struck by the wave have a 25% chance of capsizing. The water level remains elevated until the spell ends or you choose a different effect. If this effect produced a wave, the wave repeats on the start of your next turn while the flood effect lasts. Since you can raise the ambient water level up to 20 feet and the spell doesn't care about what the starting water level is, you can create some minimal level of water by spilling some on the ground and then immediately flood whatever area you happen to be in, like in a dungeon. If you do that, then your team can take advantage of underwater combat. The party can force saves and make spell attacks. The party probably has water breathing and water walk, while most enemies have none of these things. They have halved speed and disadvantage on melee and ranged attacks. I wouldn't say this is a big play, but it does cover a massive area while having no save at all. So it is a standout in control, as in unique play. I've never seen this before. As for the wave, the 25% chance of capsizing a ship is whatever, because we have better ways to capsize ships. We can do this 100% of the time. If you're at a port or near shore, you can strand a huge ship onto land with a 25% chance of flipping it over. Even if it doesn't flip over, it's still on shore. Maybe not far onto shore, but still, it's hard to get a giant ship back into the water. That sounds like a fun Saturday night. Pirates go out to drink and you just strand their ship on shore. But Kobold, what if the ship is gargantuan? You use redirect flow. You make a 40-foot cube of water and have the gargantuan-sized ship tilt over. I'll talk about redirect flow when we get there. As for spaceships, I don't know, but Chipeko has some cool sci-fi stuff, including spaceships. Perfect for your Star Wars 5e, Starfinder, or Stars Without Number games. That's a lot of stars! That's right, Darth Gator. Anyways, finding sci-fi maps on the internet is a lot harder than finding fantasy maps. But Chipeko literally has everything. They surprise me every single time. They have battle maps, spaceships, space stations, alien worlds. They have everything you need for a galactic adventure with tons of variants. They literally sent me over 100 different sci-fi maps just for this ad, and a lot of them are animated. There's no need to scavenge the internet for maps for hours anymore. You just get hundreds of them instantly by signing up to their Patreon. And they keep making them, so that means your catalog grows every month. Coolest of all is the mechs and spaceships are not just tokens. They also come with a map inside the vehicles. You can have 2 modes of play here, which is super duper cool. Kobold, could you imagine using these with Lancer? Ooh, that sounds insanely fun. I would kill for a game like that. Anyways, I highly recommend checking out Chipeku on Patreon. You get an insane amount of maps instantly, and if you need any help, they have a Discord. DMing and getting maps has never been this easy before. Back to the video. Part water. You cause water in the area to move apart and create a trench. The trench extends across the spell's area, and the separated water forms a wall to either side. The trench remains until the spell ends, or you choose a different effect. The water then slowly fills in the trench over the course of the next round until the normal water level is restored. This is a massive highlight at sea. It's the main reason why you pick this spell. I'll read it again. The water then slowly fills in the trench over the course of the next round until the normal water level is restored. A round is 6 seconds. That's super duper fast. Slowly is defined as 6 seconds. That means this spell can destroy ships easily. This would be able to destroy modern submarines. That's how insanely powerful this is. But Kobold, it says it doesn't do any damage. Yeah, that's the problem, and now I'm in trouble. I'm in hot water. Guys, don't be mad. If you disagree, that's fine. That's why we communicate in the communication game. This is interesting to talk about. If you think it works differently, that's okay. If you rule it differently, that's okay. You should ask the DM how this works. Anyways, I think with that amount of speed, the walls would have to slam back together because that's how water works. It takes the easiest way. I don't think it fills from the bottom and then goes up because it doesn't say that. And even if it did, that ship is launched in the air 300 feet up because of the speed. So no matter what, these ships are sinking. If none of that works for some reason, you can just part water under half the ship and have it fall down. Then the slowly fills part doesn't matter because it's already sideways. If all else fails, you can make a 40-foot cube of water and have the gargantuan sized ship tilt over. Speaking of which, redirect flow. You cause flowing water in the area to move in the direction you choose. Even if the water has to flow over obstacles, up walls, or other unlikely directions. The water in the area moves as you direct it, but once it moves beyond the spell's area, it resumes its flow based on the terrain conditions. The water continues to move in the direction you choose until the spell ends or you choose a different effect. With what I said with flooding a room like in a dungeon, you can move the water to the next room and then the next room. Basically to encounter. Keep in mind though, if you undo flood to redirect flow, then it's reverted back to its original state. That's not really that big of a problem though. You just turn on flood again when you need it. Like for example, oh, there's a trap? Flood the room, swim over, or water walk over all the traps. If there's enough water somewhere, there's a lot of interesting utility you can do with this. Like you can make a 40-foot cube of water and have the gargantuan sized ship tilt over. You've said this 3 times now, shut up! Okay, I'm sorry. Next. Whirlpool. This effect requires a body of at least 50 foot square and 25 foot deep. You cause a whirlpool to form in the center of the area. The whirlpool forms a vortex that is 5 foot wide at the base, but up to 50 feet wide at the top, and 25 feet tall. Any creature or object in the water within 25 feet of the vortex is pulled 10 feet toward it. A creature can swim away from the vortex by making an athletics check against your spell save DC. When a creature enters the vortex for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 2d8 bludgeoning damage and is caught in the vortex until the spell ends. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage and isn't caught by the vortex. A creature caught in the vortex can use its action to try to swim away from the vortex, as described above. but has disadvantage on the athletics check to do so. The first time each turn that an object enters the vortex, the object takes 2d8 bludgeoning damage. This damage occurs each round it remains in the vortex. I don't see this as useful besides moving and breaking objects. I might be wrong though. The thing is, if the enemies are already in a large body of water, then parting the water will just be better because you'll have them fall down. Remember, falling does 1d6 damage for every 10 feet it falls, and it auto-prones creatures. You can also choose the wave and push the creatures up to 100 foot away. All of this is with no save. But Kobold, the wave says it only pushes huge or smaller vehicles. Yeah, raw. Like, what happens to creatures who are on a ship when pushed by the waves? Well, they travel with the ship, obviously. What about no ship? Well, Ross says they don't get pushed, but like, come on. They're getting pushed. If this can push huge ships, it can push creatures. I'm sure there's tons more funny interactions you can come up with, and I personally want to know them. Please tell me in the comments. I want to optimize this spell even more. This is everything I could think of. I do think you need to talk to the DM about all of these interactions if you plan on using them. This is a very powerful spell in the right place. If you're out at sea quite a lot, like in a pirate campaign, this will squash absolutely everything. So this can be a problematic spell. But I might be wrong. All you have to do is talk to your DM. Everything is fine. End of video. That's my coverage of Kraken Week. You should check out all the other content creators too, like D4, Tremmonk, Pointy Hat, Ginny, the Dungeon Dudes, and many more. Hopefully somebody makes a playlist and I'll link it down in the description. And also, don't forget about the sci-fi maps. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye!